Hey guys, welcome back. Can you guys believe it? It is 2019. I feel like 2018 literally just snapped by like that. Before we know it, it's probably gonna be 2020. Time just keeps moving ridiculously fast, I feel like. But anyway, to the point, recently, Olight, awesome company, I love their gun lights, hit me up and they're like, hey, we've got a new product we'd like to send you to review. So I said, sure, why not? I love to check out your new stuff. They sent me the PL Mini 2. This is the successor, or more newer model, I suppose, to the PL Mini, which they sent me a little while ago. It's a fantastic little light, very small, very skinny, and it's got a pretty decent output. The original one had a 400 lumen output. The new one, PL Mini, has a whopping 600 lumen output. It's a little bit shorter, but a little bit taller, and it's got all the same features and same controls as the original, plus a few extras. So let's check that out today. So when you guys are looking for a light, what do you guys think about when you pick up a light? Do you want something that has particular features, is adjustable, has a certain output, is small, huge? Some people like big lights. I'll say I picked up one of their PL2s from Olight over the 2018 Black Friday. They had a pretty good deal on one, and I thought, you know what? I really wanted an extremely bright light that had a strobe feature, and I really like that. But it is definitely a large light. I carry a USP compact from H&K in 9mm with a Streamlight adapter to adapt most lights to it, because the USP, as a lot of people know, has a pretty proprietary rail, so you don't generally have to get an adapter to put whatever you want on there, unless you want to buy the HK specific stuff. So the PL2, I like it, but it is definitely big. The PL Mini, which is definitely smaller, you can tell right off the bat, it is a lot smaller than the PL2, is a fantastic light. And again, Olight sent me this last year to review. I think it's a fantastic light. It's a 400 lumen output, and it fits on a lot of firearms. It's got a lot of versatility to it, but it didn't fit on every firearm out there. And that was kind of the main detractor for me, is that there were some guns, like my Walther PK380 that belongs to my folks. Unfortunately, it did not fit on that. And they'd like to have some kind of light they can put on their gun, but there's really nothing that small out there that's gonna fit on such a small gun like that, until now. The PL Mini 2, this thing is extremely small, and believe it or not, it is adjustable, which I think is the biggest feature about it. Now, I'm gonna go over everything it comes with, some of the features, and then we can get onto how it works, how it mounts, and a lot of the cool specs about it. You know, I continually am amazed at how small these are. I keep forgetting how small of a box they come in. When I got this in the mail, I thought, yeah, they'll come in a larger box. I keep forgetting it comes in a very tiny package. So very small box, it's barely like the size of your hand. In it is not a whole lot, but it's everything you really need. So you of course get the charging cable. This is a magnetic charging cable. It's got a light on it to indicate when it is charging. When it is charged, it'll light up both red and green. And you can plug it into any USB source. So if you have a computer, laptop, wall outlet charger with a little USB adapter, or like a little battery pack, you can plug it in really quickly, and with the light on your gun, simply magnetize it to your light and it'll start charging it. You get about 1 hour roughly of charge from a full charge on the battery. You of course get your instruction manual. It's pretty slim, not a whole lot here, but it goes over the main specs of the light, how to install it and how to use it. You also get a small Torx wrench. What this is mainly used for is installing the different rail types, or little almost blocks or wedges, on the PL Mini 2 so they can fit both Glocks and other types of rails. You get two types of rail adapters. The Glock rail adapter, which actually says GL on it, already comes installed on the PL Mini 2. You also get two screws that also have Loctite on them already, and the 1913 pick rail adapter included in a small bag, and that's what that small Torx wrench is for, to install this. The PL Mini 2 does have some pretty good specs to boast. 600 lumen output is really good for such a small, compact light. I do love that feature. It does have the step down feature where it does go down to about 60 lumens, and we're gonna check that out here shortly as well. The battery life is about 1 hour, give or take. Now keep in mind, it's not gonna be 1 hour of a continuous 600 lumen output. It is gonna step down in a short amount of time to a lower 60 lumen output. The light is IPX6 rated, so that's a plus, and it is extremely compact in size. This is the PL Mini 2. It is extremely small, much smaller than the PL Mini, definitely as far as length, but as far as height, it is a little bit taller. That is mainly because of the adjustable rail here. You can actually adjust the length on it, and as you can see, you can totally take it off and see all the little notches it locks into. So I'm going to slide it back on here, and when we actually click the lever down, it's solid as a rock. It's not going anywhere. But for now, we can check out all the features. To turn the light on, simply give one of the tabs a press. To turn it off, give it another press. It doesn't matter which one. Either way, you can turn it on or off. If you want to have a momentary on-off, you can do that. Just simply hold it and release it. Need a little bit more than maybe a half a second to get it to stay on the quick release there. I was really pleased they actually put a little symbol here for the low battery indicator. The PL Mini has one of these, but it does not have a little symbol there. It took me a second to realize that that is a low battery indicator light. And as you can see here in the dark, it does come on when your light is getting low and it turns red. All right, this is my H&K USP compact in 9mm. I've got the Streamlight adapter on it. It's a nice aluminum adapter. And the gun is, of course, clear. No magazine, chamber's empty. The PL2 is a pretty big light. It doesn't really have a whole lot of adjustability, but it's still got the same adapters for both Glock and 1913 pick rails. It essentially goes to the very end of the adapter and goes almost an inch past the muzzle of the gun. It's pretty big. The PL Mini is, of course, smaller, but it still sits a little bit past, probably about 6, maybe 7mm past the muzzle here. It's still past the end of the gun and doesn't really have any adjustability, more so than the PL2. The PL Mini 2, on the other hand, has a decent amount of adjustability. The small rail adapter I have on this particular handgun has 3 notches in it. The PL2 can actually fit on 2 of those 3 notches instead of the PL2 and PL Mini's simply 1 notch. So I'm going to put it on the middle notch here and clamp it down. But as you can see, it's not really easy for my finger to reach the activation switch there. So I'm going to unclamp it, scoot it back a little bit here, clamp it back down. And as you can see, my finger can much more easily reach the little switch here to turn the light on and off. If I want, I can also remove the light, put it on the forwardmost notch, and scoot it all the way back and still have a little bit more finger room here, which works just as well. The original PL Mini took about 14 minutes, give or take, to step down to its lower lumen count. The PL Mini 2 took a little bit less time, around 8 minutes. It does burn a little bit hotter at that 600 lumen mark, so that's probably the reason why it stepped down a little bit faster. Here is the original output at the start of my timer, and of course after that we have the step down mark, which is closer to that 60 lumen output, the best that my camera could pick up the difference at least. First, I took the light outside out to one of the fields behind my college. It really performed pretty well, I felt like. I'm gonna get into a little bit more of that here soon, but you can really see just about 15 feet away, 20 feet away here, it has a pretty large bright spot right in the middle that it really illuminates everything extremely well. Outside of that large, actually really large bright spot in the middle, you kind of get a little bit of an illumination. You can at least see what your light is shining at, but if you're really trying to light something up, you want it to have that large bright spot right in the middle on it. My apartment building above has about a 60-foot, 70-foot wide room. It's pretty large, and I decided to shine my light across that. So the other side of the room from where the camera is roughly 60 feet away. You can see that that bright spot, really good focus spot in the middle, really opens up, and anything within that is easily illuminated. There's a little bit of light spillage off to the sides that can illuminate things relatively well at this distance as well. At this point, I've moved off to the far side of the auditorium. The battery is slowly dying on here, so I do need to recharge it before I go out and continue to test it more. But this is after the light has stepped down and has kind of hit its lower 60 lumen mark. You can still see things in the dark fairly well, but it is definitely not nearly as bright. What I really wanted to do here is pit the PL Mini, the original one, against the PL Mini 2, and this is what I got. The PL Mini, the original, is on the right, and the PL Mini 2 is on the left in this scene. You can really see that the PL Mini 2 does outperform the PL Mini by quite a bit. It really does illuminate things much farther off, and it's got a much brighter spot where it really illuminates everything right in the middle. The PL Mini 2 also encompasses a much larger area as far as what it can illuminate at a distance as well. Additionally, I wanted to see what kind of distance I could get out of the PL Mini 2. The far end of the fence line out here is about 150 feet away. Anything at that distance easily can be illuminated. The maximum throw distance of the PL Mini 2 is 100 meters. You can see the light is getting out to these buildings that are about that distance away. So you guys know I'm not just a firearms enthusiast, I'm an airsofter as well. I'm an avid airsofter, and it's really what I'm known for. So I have to think about what is this light going to be useful for as far as airsoft guns, and what can I put it on in that realm. I like going to CQB fields just as much as I like going to outdoor games. CQB fields, sometimes you just need a light. It really helps. It just totally throws people off, and it really helps with visibility as far as seeing BBs and how they hit people, and if BBs are actually hitting their targets or not. So the PL Mini 2, I went ahead and put on my Spectre RDP from Echo 1. These are fun little guns. They're kind of hard to find nowadays, unfortunately, but they're still just as fun. And it's got the perfect spot for a rail with a light on the right side. So I can just turn this on really easily with this vertical grip here. My thumb just sits in the perfect spot for it. Now, if I want to adjust it a little bit, if my thumb is just, a little far forward or something, a little far back, I can do that just as well. So I'm going to adjust it right there, a little farther back, reclip it. I've got just the perfect distance for my thumb to travel, really nearby the grip there. So this is just as applicable to airsoft, I feel like, as it is real firearms. Just around the corner here on January 28th, Olight is going to be having a fantastic sale on the PL Mini 2 in both black and desert tan. They're going to be having 30% off both of those. So the price tag, instead of $89.99, is going to be $62.99. So go check that out on their Amazon store. Link is in the description below. So I ultimately have to give this a grade as well. I got to give it a 10 out of 10. There's very few things I review that get a perfect grade like that. Honestly, I can't remember a single item getting a perfect grade, a 10 out of 10. This is probably the first, and it will, who knows? There are not going to be many more, definitely. It's so compact, it's got a decent amount of versatility, so it'll fit on a lot more guns than the PL2 and the PL Mini. The PL2 has a pretty solid output of 600 lumens, a good battery life, and it's extremely easy to use. Simple magnetic charger, and can easily turn it on and off with a flick of a switch. Couldn't get easier than that. 10 out of 10. I really love this light, and for the $89.99 price mark, you can't go wrong with it. It's pretty solid, and it's a definite step up from the PL Mini, I believe, for only about $10 more. Go tell me what you guys think in the comments. I want to see some good discussion down there. This is pretty new to the market, and I think it's a pretty awesome item. Also, like the video if you enjoy the content, and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it, guys. Thanks for watching. I'm Prodigy from Airsoft Team Kilo 23, and I'll see you guys next time.